Good morning and welcome to Glacier National Park. This is episode 3 of our epic adventure. We're just over 4,000 miles from Chicago over through Colorado up to Montana. Let's get it started. Let's take a look where we're at. Volkswagen is pretty dusty. If you haven't seen yet, episode 2, we took it down some pretty rugged dirt roads. Episode 1, we went across Iowa, Nebraska, and Colorado. Episode 2, we went from Estes Park up to Wyoming, then up to Glacier through Yellowstone. And now we're going to start heading home. Our first destination is Salt Lake City. Our first charging stop is Missoula, Montana. Just take a look at the campsite. Tore down the tent, it was here. Motorhome over there is all packed up, ready to go. And pretty much that's it. Let's hit the road. All right, so we're here on our way.
We got some surprise guests here.
We're here with Beth and Belle. So we're on our way to Missoula. That's our first charging stop. We're about 125 miles away. We charged yesterday at the Lake McDonald Lodge to 100%, then drove 8 miles back to the campground. So we left this morning with 98%. We wanted to try to stretch it to Butte, but that's up a mountain too, and it's over 230 miles, and speed limits out here are up to 80 at times, so that wasn't going to happen. So we're going to meet back up with the motorhome in Butte, Montana. But first, off to Missoula.
See you later.
All right, we're here back at Missoula, Montana. Check out the last video if you want to see the problems we ran into here, but thankfully we're on charger number 3, which worked great. Plugged in right now, ramping up. Let's see what kind of speeds we're getting. We arrived with 33%, getting 107 kilowatts right now. I think we need to charge roughly to 70% or so, so we'll be here like 15 minutes. Now we're gonna go run into the restroom and get some water. All right, we are charged up to 76%. Still getting 59 kilowatts, but I think we're gonna go ahead and unplug and hit the road. Michelle, do you want to say a little something to the camera?
A little something to the camera.
right, we are here in Butte, Montana. We did some proper road tripping as we arrived with 5%.
5.
It was a pretty steep mountain that we climbed up to get up to Butte, so
Yeah, we should have charged just a little bit more at the last stop, but it's okay. We made it fine.
it's good.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind of speeds we're getting. Excellent. Now, if you can see this, but full speed, 125 kilowatts right now. I gotta check how far we gotta charge. Our next stop, I think, is the Dell Mercantile down in Idaho, so we'll keep you posted. Right now, we're gonna get some McDonald's and hit a bathroom. All right, so we're charged up to 68%. We only needed to get to about 65, but we ate, enjoyed the weather. It's beautiful. It's like 85 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's hot out.
Pretty good charging stop, I'd say.
Yep.
We were only here 28 minutes, and that included eating, going to the bathroom, doing all those things, but charging at the same time. And now we're ready to head down the road. Our next stop, I believe, is the Dell Mercantile in Idaho. Let's go.
Idaho.
There it is. We are over 10,000 miles. We're on our way to the Dell Mercantile. It's our next charger. I couldn't even get it to show up in the navigation here, so we're using Google Maps for this little leg. We're about 40 miles away, but what a journey it has been to get to 10,000 miles already. So we have another, I think, just over 2,000 to get home. So, yeah. How has everything else been?
Everything else has been really good.
How's the trip going?
The trip has been great. A lot of activities, a lot of new places being explored, a lot of places the VW has been taken to already. So yeah, enjoying the ride.
Yep, another smooth, kind of boring drive, which is the way we like them to be.
Yeah.
We don't like event-filled road trips. We liked just smooth, easy going. And beautiful sights to see. Mountains everywhere.
Yeah.
Mountains are calling. We're on our way.
Got love for the mountains.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
The Dell Mercantile, which is in Montana. I kept saying Idaho earlier. Sleeping Beauty had a little sleep. Yeah.
I did the nap.
Yeah. We're plugged into the CHAdeMO charger, the CHAdeMO unit here, because a couple of the other units are broken. So we're lucky and happy that this one's working and working great. We're getting full speed. We're at 15%. We think we plugged in at 14%, getting 125 kilowatts. So pretty cool charging stop here. Take a look at the scenery. Say it again.
It looks like we're in the middle of nowhere.
The middle of nowhere is a great place to be. Mountains everywhere. We've got this cool, it's called the Dell Mercantile. We're gonna go check that out. It seems like a little knick-knack shop. Cabinets here, but mountains all around. Pretty cool place. Very small town. I mean, I'd be shocked if 100 people live here. Pretty cool. So we're charged up at about 65%. Did some light shopping. As you can see, the store was pretty cool. Most importantly, she wants you to know we bought huckleberry pie filling. Huckleberry. But yeah, we'll show you right now. We did a little video in there. It's pretty cool charging stop. I wish they all could be, you know, a little more interesting than just a gas station and a Walmart. But we'll take what we can get. Now it's back on the road. Our next stop is Idaho Falls. It's, I think, 105 miles away or something like that. I don't know if I mentioned we're charged up to about 65%. So we're going to go ahead and unplug and hit the road. We are here at Idaho Falls, Idaho. Just plugged in. It says 60 kilowatts now. I'm hoping it just needs to refresh. But let's see, we're on charger number 1. People said they had good charging sessions on charger number 2, but on the Electrify America app, it was showing up as only a 50 kilowatt unit. So I'm not sure. We might be unplugging or stopping this charge and moving backwards to the Chatamo unit, because that one looks like that one is delivering the full 150 as well. So we'll take a quick peek and see where we're at. There we go. Now we plugged into the Chatamo unit, charger number 4, getting the full 125 kilowatts. Charger 1 definitely something was wrong with that. We were only getting 60 kilowatt max. So charging up, and we're gonna head to the restroom real quick. I think we only need to get to like 40% to make it to the next one. So we're just gonna charge until we start slowing down and then head off. All right, so we're here in Idaho Falls. We are charged to 41% right now. It's pulling about 117 kilowatts. The couple next to us has a really cool Audi e-tron. Right there it is. They're pulling the full 150 for them as well, which is pretty lucky because the charger number 2 is only limited to 50 kilowatts right now, and charger 1 we were only getting 60 kilowatts. So I guess, yeah, lucked out. So now here's a good example of why riding the charging curve is great. We could sit here and charge to 90% and just go 160 miles down the road to northern Utah. But instead, we're gonna unplug now because we've tapered down below the full 125, and 48 miles from now is the next charger down the road on our route. So, and they're all right off the highway, so it just makes sense to charge till it starts to taper off, head down the road to the next one, and do it over and over again.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And then maybe we'll even see another Walmart. Ooh. Also, we for your viewing pleasure, we cleaned the bugs off a couple of stops ago, but
there are a few that came back.
Yeah, it's crazy how buggy it was around here. Yeah. But if you want us to keep cleaning the windshield, please make sure you're subscribed, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So make sure that click the little red box in the bottom right corner of the screen, and yeah, that's it. Off to, I think it's called Porticello. I have to look it up. It's 48 miles down the road. Let's go. What a nightmare this has been.
This is ridiculous.
Don't come to Pocatello,
No.
Idaho.
It is hot. And it's not working right.
Chargers 1, 3, and 4 broken. Charger 2 is doing complimentary sessions, but we're only getting 35 kilowatts right now from this handle. So we're going to unplug, try handle 2. We're also going to try putting a cold rag on it and see if that'll trick it into letting us get a little more power out of the system.
Yes. Hopefully that will work.
Yep.
We'll see.
Right, update. Still in Chubbuck or Portatello, whatever town this is in Idaho.
Yeah.
And we're only getting 37 to 40 kilowatts.
Yeah.
And that's with plugging in at like 15% or 20%. So, you know, good thing we let it overcharge, I guess, a little bit in Idaho Springs. We wish it would have just stayed there at this point. We could have just charged to like 90% and then left. But when I checked on PlugShare, this station's rated perfect 10 out of 10. Some people said Charger 1 doesn't work, but nobody had any complaints about all the others. Well, when we got here, Charger 3 or Charger 2, whatever we're on right here, is the only one that would work. And there was another ID4 here as well as a BMW i3 that confirmed they had the same results that we were getting. So
I think it has a lot to do with the heat. And
yeah, I don't know.
Our car is a little bit overheating at this point.
Yeah, it is 100 degrees outside. I don't know if it's our car, if it's just this charger. The other ID4 never plugged into this charger, so we didn't see what speed she got, unfortunately. But I don't know if, yeah, it's 100 degrees. We've been doing 80 miles an hour. I don't know if our car is overheating and that's all the power it wants to take right now. We'll see. Our next charging stop's 114 miles down the road, so we're about 60%. I think we're just going to unplug and go and just try to baby it. And if we have to go 75 miles an hour or whatever, it's not worth sitting here to charge a bunch more just so we can go a little bit faster, especially at these slow speeds.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll pick back up when we get to Perry, Utah, and hopefully our charging speed goes back to what we're used to. So that's it.
Yep.
We're here in Perry, Utah. Another fun and exciting charging stop.
Not as exciting, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So you saw the Fiasco at the last charging stop. We rolled in here with 5%. We plugged into Charger 2. It wouldn't connect to either handle, so now we really started to think something was going on with our car.
Yeah.
Then we went to Charger 4, over whatever there. And it was only charging at 44 kilowatts, so we again thought something was wrong with the car. But we have proven it is the chargers.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Right here, we're plugged into Charger 3. Handle 2 did not work, so that's why we had done Charger 4. But handle 1 is the lucky one. We're at the full 125 kilowatts right now, and we're very happy. So we're gonna charge up here, and then our next stop I think will be Salt Lake City. Unless we can stretch it all the way to Spanish Fork, Utah, we'll have to run some numbers, but we're gonna run into the bathroom and then probably get a bite to eat. I think there's a Sonic somewhere over there. So that's it. morning from Spanish Fork, Utah. We didn't get much sleep last night, but it was worth it, I think. Yeah. We got here a little later than anticipated. We had some, as you saw yesterday, we had a couple charging issues that delayed our arrival, which kind of sucks because we have a big day today to get to North Platte, Nebraska. So, but I will say the Hampton Inn was awesome beds.
Yeah, really
great.
Nice.
Little snack breakfast. Yep.
I got a banana.
Yeah. And we're going to, our first stop is Green River, Utah. Don't know. So last night I went over to the Spanish Fork DC fast charger, the Electrify America, and we charged there to 76%, I think, or 78%. It's one of those. And that should give us enough to get to Green River. So 110 miles away. So off to the first destination of the day. And I'm looking forward to Green River coffee for a late breakfast.
Yes.
From Green River, Utah. We plugged in at 23%, got full speed right away. You may remember this charge and stop from previous videos. Volkswagen there. There's this place called Chowhound across the street that we love. Every time we've ever been through Green River, it's always dinner time. So it's nice to try out the Green River Coffee Company this morning. Got some French toast and iced coffee, so tastes pretty good. Always nice to support your local small businesses. I love when these charging stops are at local small businesses instead of just Walmart after Walmart. However, I do understand the Walmart idea does keep always guarantee a bathroom, whereas I guess if you showed up here in the middle of the night, you might have some trouble. Also yesterday, as you saw the charging issues, I had the idea of charger hopping, and that was a failure because charger hopping is only relevant when the chargers work, and we unfortunately ran into issues, but hopefully some better luck this morning. I-70 is closed, so we're going to have a big detour. So after here, we're going to go to Grand Junction, Colorado, do a pretty deep charge, and then we're going to head, I think, south into the mountains to get around to bypass the Glenwood Springs shutdown on I-70. Pretty big mudslides. It's pretty bad. I mean, I don't know when they'll ever be able to fix the highway after this much damage. Also, we charged last night, so there's two reasons we did that. One, I like to wake up with a nice full battery and just hit the road and get a bunch of miles under our belt before the day starts catching up to us. But the other reason is because the battery temperature. We stayed about a block or two from that charger at the Walmart in Spanish Fork. And if we just woke up in the morning, went over to the charger with a cold battery, it was like 60 degrees last night, we're only going to probably pull like 50 kilowatts at best until the battery can warm up and accept more. Whereas charging last night, we plugged in with, I think it was about 10% or so. I'll put the data, of course, in the video. And we got full speed right away, and then got carried away talking to a Chevy Bolt owner, so we ended up charging to 76%. That worked out pretty perfect because then instead of having to charge again in the morning, we just hit the road, drove down here to Green River, and we're already 110 miles into our journey for the day. So if even though you're tired, if you can push through and charge the night before, you're going to have a better charging experience because it'll take half as long to charge at night when the battery's warm than the next morning when the battery's cold. All right, we are charged up to 74%. Got some great breakfast and coffee.
Yeah.
And time to hit the road to Grand Junction, Colorado. Let's go. Colorado. We're charged up to 60%. Charger number one gave us great speeds the whole way. We were in Sam's Club. We were thumbing around on Twitter and Google Maps because we might have gotten as lucky can get.
Yes, the I-70 it looks like is reopened for us.
Yeah, so it looks like we can for sure get to Glenwood Springs, which is at least a huge positive of time savings, and we might even be able to get past that and just take I-70 all the way to Denver. I'm not sure if we can go all the way, but at a minimum we should be able to get to Glenwood Springs, and that'll save us a ton of time. So we're charged up to 61%, and next stop, Glenwood Springs, so pretty happy.
Yes.
We're here in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Handle 1 didn't work, but handle 2 worked fine. So we're at the full speed. We plugged in at 18%. We're gonna go walk into Target over here. We just cannot believe how lucky this worked out to come here exactly as the road has opened. So I don't even know what to say. So we're very excited to go through here, see the status of I-70 as it's reopened. Also, there's a brand new Chevy Bolt EUV charging next to us. Just wish the charging speed was a little faster on these, but otherwise, great little subcompact cars, great for around city driving. If you have another car for road tripping, definitely worth looking into.
Yeah.
All right, so we're charged up to 62%, so we're gonna go ahead and unplug. Wanting to get the necessary ingredients to keep this drive going.
Yeah.
So now off through Glenwood Canyon to Frisco, Colorado. It's about a 90-mile drive. we are in Frisco, Colorado, ramping up right now. Looks like the full 125 kilowatts. Awesome. Plugged in at 15%. It's got some Taco Bell, so now I'm gonna run into Walmart and hit the bathroom, and then we'll eat some Taco Bell, and I think we'll be off to, not sure if we're gonna go to the Colorado Mills Mall, or we might try to skip that and just go straight to Fort Morgan. However, last time we were through Fort Morgan, only one charger was working, so I'm gonna have to look into PlugShare a little bit and do some calculating. Stay tuned. What an absolute lifesaver it was, by the way. I keep repeating it, but what a lifesaver getting through the Glenwood Canyon, being able to take I-70. It saved us hours. All right, we're charged up to 61%, so I'm gonna go ahead and disable the, or stop the charge session. There's a bolt that just showed up next to us, and there's an e-tron on the other side. I'm kind of trapped in here, so I'm not gonna open the door. Christina's gonna unhook it for us. Our next stop's gonna be Colorado Mills Mall, which 62% is already way too much. We're gonna arrive with like 35% because it's almost all downhill the whole way there. But I don't wanna sit here and charge until 80 plus percent, because we have faster speeds down the road, so we might as well hit up Colorado Mills Mall.
About 2 o'clock in the morning. We're at 77% charge. We are in Fort Myer right now, going to Uluga as our next stop. So that should be the last stop until our hotel in Nebraska. See you then. We are at our last charger for the night. We are charging at, let's see here, 124 kilowatts. We need about 40% to get to North Platte, where we're staying tonight. And that will be the end of today. Thankfully, there was a lot of driving today, but we're halfway through, back to home.
Good morning from North Platte, Nebraska. We had way too much fun last night in Denver, causing us to get here really late. So we didn't even bother plugging in to charge last night. We were just completely wiped out. So I didn't follow my own advice that I gave you early in the video. However, I'm quite surprised. Check this out. Look at the speeds that we're getting right away. We only did like a 2-mile drive to get here. Full speed, 125 kilowatts. As soon as we plugged in, I would have thought the battery needs some warming up. However, it is already in the mid 80s here. So maybe it's just because we're in summertime. I do know in wintertime, you want to make sure you have the car heated up before you plug in. Otherwise, you're just going to get slower speeds. Look at how amazingly dirty, filthy this car is. The bugs are absolutely disgusting. It's going to take forever to clean that. But the pleasures of road tripping. It's been an amazing car, amazing trip. And now it's our last day to drive home. We have about a 14-hour drive, so we should be home a little after midnight or so. And Christina's over and getting us breakfast at the Golden Arches. So she'll be over here any minute. Here's the current situation. We are charged up to 43%. As you can see, the speed has gone way down to 74 kilowatts. And it's 136 miles to Grand Island, Nebraska. And then another option is we can just go 59 miles down the road to Lexington. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and unplug, go to Lexington, charge a little bit more, and then we'll make it to Grand Island. Also, last night we didn't do too much filming on the road because it was dark out. There wasn't much to see. There wasn't much to show, but we'll make sure to still include all the data for those charging stops we had along the way. Sunshine.
Good morning.
How are you feeling?
A little tired.
Yep, she just didn't want to go home last night.
That's not true, but I'm happy we stayed out.
Also happy we took that bed.
Yes.
That was very good.
Hilton for the win every time.
Holiday Inn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Close enough. Back to the charging. So yeah, so it was, like I said, it was 136 miles to Grand Island. Instead, it's only 59 to Lexington. So we charged in North Platte just now for just shy of 15 minutes. And then when we get to Lexington, assuming everything works properly, we should charge for another 15 minutes. As opposed to if we had just done one deep charge here, we would have had a charge for almost 40 minutes. So we're saving 10 minutes by doing this charger hopping of just taking what we need to get to the next one down the road and keep moving. Also, it psychologically always feels great to constantly be moving down the highway rather than just being stuck in one place for a long time.
Yes, agreed.
But yeah, 55 miles to go. We should be there in a little under an hour. Doodles. Here in Lexington, Nebraska, we seem to have encountered a little bit of a charging bug. I was plugged in on charger number 2 over here, and it immediately gave us 125 kilowatts. Went into the restroom, came back, and at 30% state of charge, it was only charging at 74 kilowatts. So I went ahead and unplugged, switched over to this unit, switched over to charger number 1, and right here we're getting full speed again. So I'm not sure what it is. It seemed to have done that 1 or 2 times yesterday as well, and I'm not sure if it's the battery's not to the right temperature or just maybe a little software bug or something, but looks like unplugging and replugging in was the solution for now. So glad to be getting full speed again. We are charged up to 48%. It's only 75 miles or 76 miles to the next charger, which is Grand Island, Nebraska. So we have plenty to get over there. Second charger seemed to work great. We got full speed the whole time we were plugged in until it's, naturally tapered down. So time to head down the road. in Grand Island, Nebraska. We're encountering more of these charging bugs. We tried plugging into Unit 1 over here, which we had just seen a Porsche was pulling out. They successfully charged there, so not sure why that wouldn't initiate. Now we're on charger number 3 here, the other 150 kilowatt unit, and plug 1 was only delivering 72 kilowatts again. So I don't know if there's some sort of bug with the car. It must be. I'm not sure that it's only requesting 72 kilowatts instead of the full 125, because we plugged in at 12%. Right now we're up to 23%, but I don't know. Just tried handle number 2. Let's see what kind of speeds we're getting. And right away, handle 2 is delivering full speed again, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I didn't try charger 4 or 2 because on PlugShare they said both. Lots of people said both 350 kilowatt units were not working well. They were only delivering like 50 kilowatts total. So we knew we wanted to use one of the 150 kilowatt units, but not sure. It's getting pretty windy outside. Very big cross breeze has begun. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully it's not too bad. Our next destination is Lincoln, Nebraska. It's 118 miles there. So we need to charge to like 65% or so, or something like that. So we hopefully can get a better charging session this time around. All right, Christina's coming back right over here with some waters. And we're charged up to 65%, so I went ahead and stopped the charge. We have enough to make it to Lincoln, Nebraska. It's 118 miles. Let's go. We may have overcharged at Grand Island, because for some reason the in-car sat-nav thinks that the road is closed, and it definitely is not closed. So it's trying to have us do like a 40-mile detour. Not sure, maybe there's nightly lane closures, so the GPS is confused.
332 to the right after 3/4 of a mile.
No thanks, we're not going to turn off. So I guess we're actually only like 80 miles from Lincoln, Nebraska, so we should be there about an hour. Get a quick charge there so we can get to Council Bluffs, Iowa, and probably get some food there. You want to get some Applebee's?
Yes, sounds good.
What are we going to do? Are we going to be eating good?
In the neighborhood.
We're back in Lincoln, Nebraska. A little bit windy. We're charged up to 38%. We're going to go ahead and unplug. We're still getting full speed. However, we're going to eat dinner at our next stop. So we want to try to just arrive as dead as possible, because we know we're going to be there for like an hour, so we can get the best out of that charging session. So for some reason it had a free complimentary charge preloaded onto the charger when we arrived. So that's great. We didn't have to fuss around with it trying to connect to the car. But time to unplug, and I think it's like a 45 or 50 mile drive to Council Bluffs, Iowa. Let's go. Also forgot to mention it, we plugged in, we arrived with 19%, and stopping the charge now at 40%. I'm here in Council Bluffs, Iowa. I just dropped Christina off at Applebee's. For some reason, another complimentary session was on charger number 2 when we got here, so I wish I would have been able to actually log the payment, because then I'd get the notifications to my app when the car is or isn't charging. So I guess I'll just have to keep checking the Volkswagen CarNet app to make sure nothing goes wrong here. But we're ramping up right now. Let's see what kind of speeds we're getting. Yep, seems to be a pretty good charger. It's going right up to, looks like headed towards the 125 kilowatts. We plugged in at 11%. So we'll get a pretty deep charge here. I think we only need like 65 to 70%, but by the time I walk to Applebee's and get back, I'm sure we'll be well over 80. So it is what it is. We'll use the charge eventually. So off to Applebee's. We're charged up to 90%. Christina's gonna drive for a few hours.
Yep, my turn to drive.
And next stop is either Williamsburg or Waukee, Iowa. I forget which is which. One's next and the one's after that. We are here in Waukee, Iowa. Thanks to Christina for driving that leg. I got about an hour of sleep or so. Right away, more charging bugs again. I plugged into charger 1 and I was only getting 35 kilowatts. And I don't get it because now I'm plugged into charger 2 and I'm getting the full 125 right away. So I don't know if it's an Electrify America issue or an issue with the car. I'm definitely gonna have to look into it. We only have a couple more charging stops to get home tonight, and then I guess I'll look into it next week and try to see what's going on here. It's 102 miles to Williamsburg, Iowa. So we're charged up to 68%. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug. We plugged in at, I think it was 38%. So got more than enough to get there. Christina's gonna continue taking this leg, and then I think I'll probably do the remaining 2. I think there's only 2, maybe 3 charging stops left for the whole trip. We are here in Williamsburg, Iowa. Only 1 stop left after this, maybe 2 if we decide to just do charger hopping across Illinois. Just plugged into charger number 3. Another complimentary session was set up. And it looks like charger number 4 even has one on the screen. But getting full speed right away, plugged in at 25%. We'll probably be here to about 65% or so. Then it'll be off to Geneseo, Illinois. That's the charger that in our first road trip back in June we had all those issues with. So hoping, fingers crossed, for a nice smooth charge so we can get home at a semi-reasonable time tonight, because we both have work tomorrow. Beautiful sunset, by the way. Check this out. The sky is very colorful. I'm not sure if this still has to do with all the wildfires that are going on, but really nice sunset. And now the green glow starts to take over. Here's what I was saying about the complimentary sessions. You'll see when you pull up to a station, it'll say that one's preloaded on there. So if you're in a car that does not have free charging, you might want to take advantage of those. I know right next to us is a Chevy Bolt. I've actually seen quite a bit more cars on this trip than I did the previous trip a couple months ago. So good to see more people road tripping. I've seen surprisingly a lot of Bolts out there. So I don't know if Chevy's just sold a bunch more of those lately, or people just starting to road trip them. I'm not sure. It might just be coincidence. We also saw a Porsche earlier today. I know a Mini Cooper just left here according to PlugShare. So like I said, all EVs are starting to road trip more often, and it's good to see. Although we don't want too many to road trip because we don't want these chargers to be filled with lines. So the charging bug popped up again. We were at 42 to 45%, somewhere in there. And all of a sudden it slowed down to like 30 kilowatts, then went back to like 74 and just kind of sat there for a while. And I'm starting to really think it must be something with the car, because consistently every stop it's seemed to run into this issue. So I unplugged and I'm plugged into charger 4 here. It still says initializing, but I was able to confirm on the radio, it's or on the infotainment, that it's charging at full speed for this point of the state of charge. But yeah, I don't know what's going on now. I'm glad that we only have 1 or 2 more stops to the trip, and then we'll be able to take some time and assess these issues. So charger number 4, which also had a complimentary session set up. Handle 2 I tried plugging in, that failed, but handle 1 works great, and we're getting the speeds we should at this point in the pack. When we get to about 60, maybe I'll even wait till like 62%, I'll go ahead and shut it down, and we'll be off to Geneseo, Illinois. It's about like, I think it's 107 miles away. I'll have to put it in the GPS right now and make sure we have enough, but I think we're pretty good to go in the next percent or two. So this car continues to confuse me. We're here in Geneseo, Illinois, charged up excellent. We're up to 63% now. I'm gonna unplug at about 65%. We're gonna go to Joliet, Illinois. This charging session I plugged in, and it just worked perfectly at the speeds I would expect the whole way up. We plugged in at 14% and got the full speeds that we would expect. We're down to 75 kilowatts now, but that's because we're at 65%. So I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna try to also look back when I'm editing this to see if it was particular branded charging units, perhaps like ABB or Signet or C, which brands were, maybe there's an issue with the Volkswagen talking to those chargers. Not sure. But our next destination is 113 miles down the road. I just don't want to sit here and charge all the way to 85, 86% and then have a 2+ hour drive, like a 2.5 hour drive home. I'd rather just go an hour and a half down the road, plug in for another 10, 15 minutes, and then be home, rather than sitting here to get a really deep charge. And just as that, we're at 65%, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the charge and head off. We are charging up in Joliet, Illinois, only 50 miles from home. Charger number 1's working great, getting full speed right now, plugged in at 8%. Really, we only need 30% or so to make it, and probably even less than that. Just, taking some free charge while we're here, and that way when we get home, we'll have a little bit left over before we plug it in, and then we'll slow charge it all the way up to 80%, and it'll be a happy car because it'll get a chance to finally level itself back out. And that's going to be a wrap to Glacier.
Yep, that's one for the books. Definitely had a great time on this trip, and we did a lot of fun and adventurous things.
4,400 miles. I'll give you the exact details when we get back inside the car. But it was pretty epic. As usual with electric car adventures, we had good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
But
It wouldn't be the same without it, though.
yeah, but I think another trip that we're glad we have this car, and
Yes.
happy that we took it on the trip and it performed flawlessly yet again.
Again, great road trip car.
Yep.
It really is.
I'll continue to look into those charging bugs, see what it is. I don't know how much time I want to spend going into it, because we're supposed to get a software update here in the next month anyway, and we don't really have any big road trips scheduled for the next few weeks. So I kind of feel like I want to see how that software update works before just going down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what the heck's going on with it. But other than that, very happy with the car. Now we've got to do a thorough car wash, and then
Inside and out.
yeah, and then we have to go, we're over 10,000 miles, so we're gonna have to make a video about our 10,000 mile review on everything that we've experienced with the car so far, and any issues we've had. And actually, I think that video will probably be uploaded before this one, so I'll make sure to link that up here. And yeah, anything else?
Not really. I mean, like I said, it was an amazing road trip, and we continue on going on these trips and showing that you can make it through to places you didn't think you can, like the glaciers, for example, or Death Valley.
So with that, also make sure that you're subscribed if you haven't already, and if you like the video, please like the video. Comment down below if you have any questions. We try to get back to everything as fast as possible. But yeah, we're very thankful that you could join us and made it to this point of the video. And take care. Have a good one.
Bye.
So we're just at just under 12,000 miles. We have another 50 to go home, so we'll be like 45 miles short of 12,000 miles. For the trip as a whole, today we did 718 miles and got 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour. But here's the total: 4,568 miles and 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Pretty good. I mean, it was just a great car. Another great trip.